Hey there everybody and welcome back. For those of you that are interested in considering switching to Google Fi for your phone provider, stay tuned. I'm going to be covering a couple of different things, including an in-depth review of this service and why I actually recently switched from Verizon back to Google Fi. Additionally, I'm going to be putting this in the description. Basically, this is just a referral code. Basically, if you sign up using this, you'll get a $20 credit, and I will as well. Now, I do want to make a quick note that I am not sponsored by Google Fi in any way, but I do want to go ahead and make a note that I think it's a great service that you should consider looking into. So I'll jump into screen sharing momentarily to cover the benefits and also the cost and various things that are included with the plan. So before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the channel for new content. Okay, so we have the Google Fi website pulled up. Now I'm going to break this portion of the video into 4 parts. So starting up, we're going to look at a couple phone promos. I'm adding this in even though they're not going to be always available, and the main reason is so you can kind of understand the promotions and pricing a little bit more, even if what you see is different. Then we're going to go over plans, then coverage, and then I'm going to wrap things up with explaining why I switched from Verizon to Google Fi. Now I want to make a quick note. Again, I will put a link to my referral code in the description. If you use that to sign up, you'll get $20 off, and I will also get $20 off. You can read the details online to see more about that and kind of how that works. Now, jumping straight in, we're going to go to phones first. Now, you'll see a couple of different options for pricing, which confused me a little bit at first. So you'll see, for example, right here, we have up to $999.99 back with trade-in. So obviously your trade-in is a factor there. Then you have this one, which is $700 back after bill credits. So you'll see there's a couple of different options, but the idea here is you have an option to choose bill credits, pay in full. I believe they have a financing option, and then you also have trade-in options as well. So going over a couple of these, the trade-ins are pretty straightforward. You buy a phone, send yours in, get a credit for the phone that you sent in, assuming it meets the eligibility criteria and it's a model they'll accept. For the payments, you can just pay up front, which is simple, just like checking out at any other retailer. You just buy the phone flat out. The financing part, obviously, if you're eligible, then you would basically go through that process. And then you have the bill credits. Now, the reason I'm covering this is I actually have a video review of a phone that I got essentially for free from Google Fi. So, going over this phone here, it's the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. I'll put the video review in the description, but basically you'll notice here, and again, you'll have to look this up on your end to make sure that you're verifying everything, just in case I accidentally say something incorrectly. But basically you have this entry offer. So I'm assuming they're going to have these regularly where it's a certain amount, like $0 after bill credits. And the idea is it's kind of like contracts from phone carriers a while back. So the idea is you're not actually paying for the phone. They're giving you the phone for free to a sense, or in a sense. So the idea is they're giving you an $8.33 a month or $8.33 a month credit. And after 24 months, that means the phone is paid off. But if you cancel before then, you're expected, I'm assuming, to pay the full price of the phone or whatever you have left. So that is something to bear in mind, but if you're going to be staying long term, then obviously it's essentially the equivalent of a free phone. So we have covered a couple of phones. Now let's jump into plans. So we'll go over plans and go to all plans. Now you'll have a toggle here depending on the number of people on your plan. So we'll start off with 1. You'll see we have Simply Unlimited, Unlimited Plus, and Flexible. So for Flexible, we'll start here just because I think it's one that can be attractive to many people, but may not be the best option for you. So I'll go through the toggle on each of these just so you can get an understanding of how they're going to increase. And you'll see that for one person, you get $20 for one plus data. So 20 each plus $10 a gig. So the idea here is you get unlimited calls, texts within US, Canada, and Mexico, and then $10 a gig with slower speeds after 15 gigs. You do have hotspot tethering, shareable data, and then you'll see as you kind of scroll through, you have a couple of other options that you'll always get, like a VPN and several other options. So that's that plan, but I think what's going to be the most popular are the Simply Unlimited and the Unlimited Plus. So for the Simply Unlimited, the reason that this is the most attractive to me is firstly for $50 for one person, or you'll notice if we click 2, 3, and 4, the price does not change. So as we're toggling through, you'll see the price for these flexible and unlimited plus do change, but for the simply unlimited, it doesn't. So I was able to get 4 lines, 2 of which I did not even need, for this price here. And as we explore the simply unlimited plan, you'll see $80 for 4, $20 each. Now, it does not include taxes and fees. I'm assuming none of the plans do, so you'll have to look that up to see what that's going to be. But going over what's included, we have unlimited data, calls, text within US, Canada, and Mexico, unlimited data with slower speeds after 35 gigs, and 5 gigs of hotspot tethering. I think that this is a better option than what a lot of the major carriers offer. And then you'll also see you have some international features. So free text from the US to over 200 destinations, and affordable calls from the US to over 200 destinations, and then the what you always get section, such as full connectivity for smartwatches. So that's a really, really good deal in my opinion. For example, Verizon is going to offer quite a few different options, but if you're looking to go for one of the major carriers and you only have 1 or 2 people, then you're likely going to end up paying more than you would here for 4. And depending on your coverage area, that actually may end up making this a better option for you just to go with something like, again, Google Fi. So for me, I have 2 individuals on my plan, but I then added 2 lines for free because there's no price difference between these 2 plans. And then I also added in the 2 free phones, so I can just use them for whatever else I may need. So that covers that plan. Now let's go to Unlimited Plus. So we'll explore this one to see what perks it offers. So I'll toggle through the pricing options here just so you can get a better idea. But as you can see, it's quite a bit more expensive. At this point, we're pushing closer to making it more cost appropriate to potentially look towards getting an option with a major carrier, especially because some of them will offer different streaming options. But let's see what they offer. So you'll see unlimited data with slower speeds after 50 gigs, unlimited hotspot tethering, unlimited calls, data, and text within the US, Canada, and Mexico. You'll see premium extras like 1 year of YouTube Premium, 100 gigs of cloud storage with Google One. You have these international features, and then the what you always get section. Now, some of these things are great, but they also do a great job of kind of keeping you on Google. And the reasoning, or if you kind of look into it more, you'll see, okay, if they give you 100 gigs of cloud storage, you're more likely to stay with them because if you leave, then you would lose that. So that's definitely smart on the marketing side. So that really covers all of the plans that they're currently offering. And again, you can always take a look at Google Fi's website to see more about how they work, if there are any throttling or anything like that. One thing to consider, and I try to make a note of this in other videos, is typically when you're on a carrier like this, you're going to experience something called deprioritization. And the idea is Google Fi doesn't own these towers, they're using them. For example, the towers that we covered not too long ago. So if the customers for those towers or those carriers are using traffic heavily in your area. For example, if you're at a sporting event or you're out somewhere in a large group, you may notice that your speeds are slower than others at times because they are going to get priority usage of that data from those towers. But I haven't seen that to be a huge issue in day-to-day use for me personally. Now, let's jump into coverage. So you have quite a few different options as far as coverage is concerned. So you can basically just type in a PIN and it'll drop you into this map here and you can look into the actual options. Now, as you can see, this is already a very impressive coverage map, but in my opinion, this should be the main reason or the main thing you should be looking into when considering switching to another network. If you don't get good service in your area, it doesn't really matter if you have the carrier or not. So what we'll do is we'll scroll in a bit to get a better idea. Now you'll notice that most of the, basically just this half, or I would say almost 3/4 of the US is almost completely covered. So you'll see we have dark green is 5G, lighter green is 4G LTE, and then the lightest green is extended. So you can scroll in and see a little bit more detail what areas are covered. So you might have a couple of different smaller sections throughout the US that don't have great coverage or any. But all in all, you're getting really, really good coverage in my opinion. So you're definitely going to want to check this out, make sure that this works for you in the areas that you live and plan to visit regularly. So now what we're going to do is we're basically just going to wrap things up. So, going over why I switched from Verizon. I noticed that on Verizon, and this is just my experience, so in no way should this necessarily shape your desire to actually switch, because it could be something specific to my phone, my area, any number of things. But I just noticed when I had Verizon, the quality wasn't great. Even if I had a couple bars of 5G service, or if I was on Wi-Fi, I had issues, for example, consistently with sending pictures. If I tried sending a picture on my Z Fold 4 and I backed out of the messages too quickly, the picture wouldn't go through. But I noticed the day I switched to Google Fi, pictures would send almost immediately, or I just don't have that issue with messages failing to send. It's almost like if the phone didn't stay open on the screen sending the picture for a couple of seconds before backing out, it just wouldn't go through. And again, that could be something specific to me, but I also noticed that I just never felt like speeds and the quality and coverage were really there. And after switching to Google Fi, being in the same area, I've noticed that it just feels like everything is substantially faster. And it's very odd when you get to a point where if you have slow internet, it almost makes your phone feel slower, even if you have one that's newer. So, long story short, the main reason I switched was coverage, and the second reason that I switched was pricing. So, going back to the pricing here really quickly, I switched because I wanted to get an unlimited plan like I had on Verizon. And I realized when I was going through that they had the option to sign up for 4 Simply Unlimited, basically just for the price of $80. On Verizon, I was paying around 75-ish a month for a single person on an unlimited plan, and I just wasn't feeling like I was getting my money's worth. Whereas I'm now paying, I would say, about 85-ish a month, and not only did I get 2 phones that are extra with extra numbers that I can use for whatever for just $10 more, but I also have the option to do referrals, get some money off to bring that down, and also, again, you get those 4 lines unlimited data. It's just kind of hard to beat with all of the perks. So I hope this was helpful. Now, I do want to know if you have any questions or thoughts or concerns, and honestly, if you're a Google Fi customer, let me know what your thoughts are in the description below. Don't forget to check out that referral link and really just all of the details about that, and I'll see you all in the next video.